Hello, beautiful and exotic women of the world. Yes, she's jealous of you, even if she has more than you. I'm going to repeat that. Yes, she is jealous of you, even though she has more than you. Someone can have more clout, more friends, more connections, but if that clout and all that access that they're supposed to have doesn't equal out to your anointing, your gifts, and your favor, they will absolutely have it out for you. They will feel like those things that you have, they should have, because society has signaled to them that they should have those things. But they don't realize that popularity does not equal anointing. The favor of man does not equal the favor of God, okay? And this is where people get it mixed up, where sometimes their blessings aren't necessarily coming from the Most High, okay? So let's clock that T. And this is something I noticed with a lot of other pretty women who I've encountered. And, I don't really talk about this phenomenon much on my channel, but there are going to be certain instances where you run into beautiful women just like yourself who are unevolved and who lack depth and who lack a spiritual connection. And because you have the spiritual connection to source, and you also have the beauty, and you may also have the brains and the personality and all the things, they feel like it's unfair because you don't have the same amount of followers as them. You have less followers, you have less friends, no one is calling you to go out and party or go hang out. So why does she still get blessed? Why is she still favored? Why is she still getting opportunities that I need 15 connections in order to get? And it can breed a lot of contempt in people when they feel entitled to your blessings. I have experienced this a lot with women who were on my level when it comes to beauty and maybe had more connections, more friendships, which, in society, that sort of sends a message that they are more favored, quote unquote. But that's not always true, because you could be beautiful and have tons of friends and all your friends are scared of you. So you just have a bunch of yes men around you. Or you could be really beautiful and have lots and lots of connections and lots of industry ties and be very well known in your city or in your town or in your state, but you only get but so far because people have put you in a box. Like, you never want to be that person that is ruled by what society tells you are and how far they tell you can go. And I think that's where a lot of these people get it messed up. So inherently they feel like, well, I'm valuable, I'm wanted by others, I'm coveted, and I'm highly sought after, which should equal I only get favorable outcomes. I'm always seen as above other people who have lower follower counts than me, who have less friends, who have less popularity, who have less clout, who have less money. People attach their value to external things very, very, very often. And when they come across someone who is on their level beauty-wise, but may not have the material things, the material possessions, the access, the connections that they have, but are still content, are still happy, are still joyful, and they still get praise and accolades for the little things that they do have, it bothers the people who think that they're elite. The people who are at the top that think that they're better because of all these things that they have that are external things that can really be wiped away in the blink of an eye, right? They attach so much of their self-value to it. They don't really know who they are. They don't really like themselves for real. They just tend to do whatever is trending, do whatever other people are doing, and do it well so they can be acknowledged and received well and propped up on a pedestal. But really, the pedestal is fickle because trends change, people change, and with that, you have to also change very often as well. You have to be someone who can fake it in many different rooms. You have to be someone who maybe doesn't have the most integrity, because you have to be able to move through different spaces and basically put on an act for people to accept you and like you so you can be popular and be received well. Meanwhile, people like me who had the pretty privilege, had the beauty, but maybe didn't have all the money in the world or all the access, all the connections, I still was content with myself and my authenticity and me showing up from a place of being okay with who I am, regardless of external forces like friends and connections and the optics of what these things look like. I was still content and happy with life. And I think I've had a lot of run-ins with beautiful women who are like this, who are materialistic and care about outward perception a lot, because they didn't like the fact that I was able to be happy and able to get opportunities and able to be treated well, even though I didn't have all the material things. And ladies, I'm here to let you know that if someone is jealous of you and they may appear to be on your level or higher when it comes to finances, material possessions, connections, and friendships, I'm here to let you know that it's not what's on you, it's what's in you. It's what's in you, because what's in you is a beautiful energy, a beautiful light. You have a beautiful personality as well as your beauty on the outside, right? You are okay with who you are. You are content with who you are. You are okay with the season of life that you're in. Maybe you don't wear all designer bags or you don't have the flashiest car, you know? That was my story once upon a time. And I remember going at it or having issues with women who had more than me. And I was always so confused because I'm like, girl, you have the Louis, you have the Hermes, you have the Mercedes GLE. You know what I'm saying? You have the business, you have all these things. But when I walk into the room with you and you recognize my beauty and then you also recognize what's in me, now you have it out for me. I don't understand. I don't have half of the things you have. I could see you competing with me or hating on me if I had what you had or more. But my God, I don't even have what you have. And you're perceiving me as a target, as an enemy. You know, I even know people who have tried to flex that they have more friends than me as like a way to try to like one up me or compete with me. And I always used to think that was weird because it's like, well, I don't have any friends. So you trying to flex that you have friends is very strange, because you should just be happy that you have tons of friends and go about your day. Why are you irritated or have words for me because I don't have a ton of friends and I mind my business and stay to myself? Is it because you realize that your need for friendships and your need to have lots and lots of people around you comes from a need for outside validation and approval? And you realize that because I choose to validate and approve myself, that makes me stronger than you in some ways, and you don't like that? Are you perceiving me to be better than you, sweetie? Because I choose not to keep people around me for my own safety and mental health, and because I like myself enough to not surround myself around people just to say I have friends. I think they put these pieces together and then suddenly they feel like you're the elite one. In their minds, it's badass for you to not need outside validation. They just won't give you your props for it. They're not going to give you your 10s, baby. They're not going to give you your props. They're not going to tell you, you know what, you are a badass woman for not needing lots and lots of friends, for standing alone, for being brave enough to walk into a room and not need tons of people to back you and protect you. You've done the work on yourself enough to not need that. You've done the work on yourself enough to know that a lot of these connections and friendships are fake. So you are strong, you are powerful, you are incredible for not having to walk around with all these people attached to you to feel powerful. Of course, they're not going to say that. Right? They're not going to tell you that, because then they would have to admit that they are weak. They would have to admit that they are lacking. They would have to admit that they outsource their confidence. They outsource their self-esteem from others. They would have to admit that the way that they're living, that seems to be very accepting in society, is a fallacy. They would have to accept the reality that the life that they built around material things, lots and lots of friends and connections, having more clout than you, more popularity, being more known than you, does not equal a happy life. It does not equal genuine good people in your corner. It does not equal you not being lonely, because you can be lonely and have all these things. You can have all the people around you, but if they don't really know who you really are because you have to put up a facade to keep them around, or you have to do things that go against your own internal morals because you want clout or you want them to give you their stamp of approval, you have already lost. And so it makes sense, ladies, why these women would hate us, because we are good, we are happy, and we are content with what we have. So ladies, drop down in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts on women who have a hard time leaving you alone, even if they are on your level beauty-wise, because you are content with your life while they are constantly looking for the next thing to achieve and attain to make them appear to be elite over you. I'll also be leaving my email in the description box so you can share your stories with me there as well. Have a lovely day, ladies.